Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. As always, thank you for joining me. And if you could, leave a like, subscribe down below, and hit that little bell so you don't miss anything from the Big Ranch Show. Anyhow, I'm not sure if you've seen this story, but it's featured on Mother Jones recently, and it's from the BBC. Apparently, there was a deal cut before the invasion of Raqqa between coalition forces fighting against ISIS. Now, Donald Trump, ever since his campaign, has been very, hardcore against ISIS, which is about the only thing coming from Donald Trump I've ever really supported during his campaign. Because I believe these people are scum and they need to be wiped off the face of the earth. That's my own personal opinion. But for all his strong talk and all his strong rhetoric and BS over ISIS, and how he even said that he knew more about ISIS than the generals, or our generals, do, apparently he signed off on a deal that broke that promise. The deal allowed for, it was supposed to bring the end of fighting in Raqqa, basically, and save lives on both sides. The thing is, though, in order for them to allow this deal to go on, they sent people that were associated with ISIS free and clear. Up to 4,000 of them. Apparently, the original deal, as it was described in Mother Jones and at the BBC article, they were only supposed to take sidearms and their families with them. The thing is, this added up to about 4,000 people, and when the vehicles drove off with all these people in it, it was roughly, according to one witness, 6 kilometers long of a caravan with many vehicles of military grade weapons and and other things like that. Not to mention 250 actual soldiers and roughly 3,500 of their family. Now, sure, they said, according to the Syria Defense Force, they say only a small number of people got out. But that turns out not to be the case, according to witnesses and a video that the BBC is basing a lot of their story on. If I find that video in a little bit later on, I will post it in another update to the story. Now, the thought is that this was supposed to have saved lives, on the battlefield. And maybe it did. Maybe that's a great idea. But as the Mother Jones article points out, it's not what Donald Trump promised. Donald Trump promised to hit ISIS hard, fast, and destroy them. Allowing almost 4,000 of their people to go free does not look like you're hitting them hard or destroying them. It makes it look like you're actually hitting them weaker than President Barack Obama did. I had a lot of issues with how Obama handled ISIS. I think he was a little slow on the draw on getting action against them. But such is the thing, Americans, here in America, we're very reactionary to things, and it seems to be how it works. We don't think about a problem until it's right on top of us. Unfortunately, though, for Donald Trump, there'll be no repercussions for this. Unfortunately, nobody will say anything. You're not going to see this in the mainstream media hardly, at least not in the U.S. You have to find it on the BBC, Mother Jones, smaller, and bloggers and things like that, and right here at the Big Ranch Show. But the fact is, he has broken his promise to destroy. If his idea is to destroy ISIS, signing off on a deal that allows this many of their warriors and stuff to go free is insane, and it breaks that promise. So if you ask me, this is something Donald Trump needs to address. I think he needs to address it nationally. If he refuses to, the mainstream media needs to pick up on it. The problem is, they're not interested in this. Because it doesn't, the mainstream media, of course, if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. And personally, I would have rather us take, these at least the 250 actual, fighters out. Whether we let their families go or not, that's one thing. But these people left with all their ammunition, all their weapons. According to one report, or one eyewitness report, roughly 10 vehicles full of military hardware left Raqqa with them. So that kind of goes to creates the whole thing of, okay, so we saved lives now, but you just let ISIS, who is known to use firearms to murder innocent civilians in other countries around the world, like Paris, that jerk down in Orlando, for example, the guy at San Bernardino, and all the other horrible acts that ISIS has pulled off. And the mainstream media is not saying nothing. They haven't said jack diddly squat on this. So if you ask me, I'm very sad that Donald Trump signed off on this. I understand he was trying to save, they were trying to save some lives, but when you're just going to let those terrorists walk off with weapons that they're just going to use to terrorize and murder other people, it's not a good deal. All in all, Donald Trump broke his promise here, and I wish he would address it. I wish he would man up and address it. Anyhow, that's what I got for you today. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you down the road.